Okay, good morning. All right, thank you so much for joining this session. This is one of my favorite topics in the world, so happy that you're all here with us. I'm Stacy Overturf. I lead our learning and development organization at Ansira, and I'm here with Renee and Eric from McKesson and Bobcat. Before we get started on a couple things, would you guys mind introducing yourselves, your sort of role, responsibilities at the companies that you're with?
Sure. I'll go first. I'm Renee. See, I just took it. I work with McKesson, which is a pharmaceutical and medical supply distribution company. And under our umbrella, we do have a franchise of independently owned pharmacies. And I actually manage the marketing for those pharmacies and our co-op program.
Eric?
And I'm Eric Weiss. I'm manager for dealer marketing at Bobcat. Bobcat manufactures compact equipment. We have 4 different verticals. We've got construction equipment, grounds maintenance, which would be mowers and tractors, forklifts, and then portable power. So portable generators, portable air, and then we have a parts and attachments business as well. But really all of the tools and resources and support that we offer to our dealer network across North America flows through our dealer marketing team.
Perfect. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, we're going to talk about training today. And before we jump into the conversation and questions for these two, I want to ground us a little in just sort of what's happening in training and enablement in the channel enablement world. So learners have changed quickly and dramatically over the last many years, and channel partners have changed even faster. Channel partners are even more now needing, I want what I want, knowledge that I want, when I want it, and I want it now. They're time starved. They vary widely in marketing expertise. They don't want long courses anymore, like any of us. They want short how-to content that they can do in the flow of work. Some of the key trends that we see across industries are that enablement, training and enablement, is now a real budget line item. It's not a nice to have, it's a must have. Continuous training is replacing the idea of like one and done sessions. Measurement and ROI are non-negotiable, must be part of whatever strategy we're building. Self-serve is the norm and expected. And partner experience is and should be equated with customer experience. If there's friction for learning, users are going to disengage. But if it's easy, simple, makes sense, they're going to lean in. So our philosophy at Ansira with training is pretty simple. Learning should be sticky, practical, useful. It should surprise you just a little, so you want to come back. And the learning nerd in me is going to talk a little bit about, creating FOMO, right? Like as part of that, we want people to want to be there and want to participate in training. Our brains are just wired differently now. We are used to YouTube and TikTok to give us all of our knowledge. And so that's what we expect and want no matter what we're doing, whether that's submitting co-op fund requests or making dinner. We want a quick video that's going to show us or tell us how to do something quickly and easily. So one of the things and the big topic today is really around blended learning and the importance of thinking about what it is that learners and users want, how they want it, and how do we match that up with the right kind of tactic and blend it together from step-by-step guides to maybe more traditional e-learning, microlearning, to platforms that allow us to personalize learning and measure it, and then also one-on-one virtual or live sessions and figuring out how to blend all of that together into a seamless strategy. So I'm going to ask these two some questions to share sort of their experiences through this journey, because it has been a journey, and hopefully you all learn a few things along the way. All right, so when you think back over the past several years, how would you describe the state of training enablement in your program? What was working and what wasn't? Renee, let's start with you.
Okay, so for us, when I first started, we had a plethora of PowerPoint presentations, which we all know are super engaging. And people just can't wait to sit and download it and read it. They're just super, super excited about that. It wasn't working. So we said, okay, our pharmacists are busy. They're not only the business owner, they're also the marketer, they're also the supply order person, they're also the customer service person at the counter, they're working the drive-through. How can we engage with them in short, digestible communications? So we created a series of videos based on some of their pain points that they could just digest quickly and learn how to do something on the platform. And that's evolved now where we have in-platform learning. So as they're actually doing something in the platform, submitting a claim, we have little walk me videos right there that they can digest right there, so they don't have to leave the platform, wonder if they're going to come back and finish their claim. They can just finish it right there with the learning that's very right in the platform.
I always think about that as like a little guide on your shoulder telling you, click here, now click here, now click here, and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric?
Yeah, we relied, I would say, very heavily on getting in front of our field sales staff. Those are the individuals at Bobcat that are out in front of our dealerships, and they're talking to them about a wide range of topics. We've talked a lot here this week about AI. Well, most recently in our industry, tariffs is probably the biggest topic. And so field staff is out there talking to dealers about tariffs, about trying to hire service technicians and sales staff and getting in front of the right salespeople. And then, marketing gets one little piece of the talk track of their day. And so we have had to recognize that our field staff has so much they need to communicate to the dealer that's probably not the most efficient way to get a message across to dealer marketing staff. And so we have now, through a strategy project with Ansira and working on some of these learning enablement modules, have started to evolve to position it so that our field staff doesn't need to be that front line of defense, that dealers can be directed directly to the platform, which we call Brand Builder, and then get that step-by-step guidance that they need right within the platform.
And consistent knowledge as well. So you're not relying on like this game of telephone of how does someone interpret and share.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the moment that convinced you that partner enablement had to be treated as a strategic priority, not just a nice to have, Eric?
Yeah, I think we started this strategy project with Ansira probably a little over a year ago, and the whole goal is just to understand, what was working in the platform, what wasn't, what were the resources that dealers were navigating to and using, and was it effective? And through that strategy project, we had some stakeholder interviews with our field staff, with users that were high engaged users, lower engaged users. And I think what we found was there wasn't enough guidance. There was a lot of gaps depending on the different type of dealer that was using the platform. And so recognizing that there needed to be a better way to fill in those gaps, and this learning enablement priority really helped to solution for a lot of those gaps that we found in that strategy project.
What about you?
I would say ours is a lot similar. It was just our customer frustration. Where are they frustrated? Where are they having trouble? And then trying to address those points of contact where they're frustrated to create a better user experience for them and have them feel more comfortable with utilizing their co-op funds.
And you were getting feedback and questions over and over and over, right?
Yeah,
about
same questions. And it was like, okay, we need to address this. And how can we do that at scalable? Because we have about 4,000 pharmacies across the United States. And of course, like Eric was saying, you can't get on the phone with all of them. So how can you meet them where they are and give them the information that they need?
Your dealers and pharmacists range from highly sophisticated marketing, sort of having marketing experience, to the other end of the scale of maybe being the one person who's wearing multiple hats. How have you designed an approach that works for both ends of that scale? How do you think about that? Renee, why don't we start with you?
So for us, it's, again, trying to determine where our pharmacists, how how they learn best and meeting them where they are. So there's still going to be a pharmacist out there that wants to read that PowerPoint. So they're there if you want them. They're not downloaded very much, but and then also the short videos and the walk-me's, and then our customer service is always there to help too. So just meeting them where they are.
Yeah, I think for us, the short answer is we're going to find out, because we just launched our Show Me videos on Friday.
Yeah.
And so it's really a good opportunity for us to message that to our field staff to let them know that these resources are there. And now they're in the season of going out, meeting with dealers to get contracting and commitments from them. And so we'll have a nice little feedback loop between the dealer and field staff back to us, and then obviously we'll be able to see, kind of the utilization within the platform. But the timing worked out really well for us, that we're going to have feedback through use, but also feedback as our staff are out meeting with those dealers.
So how do you think about blended learning? So, combining or leaning into sort of high touch experiences and self-serve. How do you find that balance and approach it? It's Renee.
So for us, it was collecting the data. Where are we? Where do we have a need? Where are our gaps? And then trying to meet not only our pharmacies and our customers where they are, but also our sales staff. We found that gap. The sales staff, again, had many things on their plate. Marketing was the last thing they wanted to talk with about their customers, but probably is the most important to help them grow their business. So we did a series of calls in the fall with all of our sales staffs across the country, and noticed that engagement went up, call volume went down, in addition to the learnings that we have on the platform with the walk-me's, the videos, just addressing where people need help.
I think you touch on a really important point. Like, it's great once a user gets to the platform, they have training available to them, and it's in that flow of work, but how do you get them there? And so finding your learning champions and kind of tapping into them, I think, is really important.
Absolutely. We also send out monthly emails with reporting and different things that are new on the platform for our customers, and we include videos in those, encouraging people to come back to the platform or visit the platform for more information.
Eric?
Yeah, when I think about blended learning, I certainly feel like there's a human element that's necessary and will always be there. And for us, we've had a partnership with Ansira, and Constance at Ansira has kind of served as that initial point of contact for dealers when they onboard. And what that's allowed is when a new dealer is onboarding with Bobcat, there's a laundry list of tasks that they need to complete. But one of those is marketing, and it's a call with Constance. And what it used to be was Constance would make sure that they could get logged into the platform, that they had kind of a high level overview of here's what the platform does for you, and it kind of ended at that. What investing in this learning enablement strategy is going to allow us to do is shift the conversation that Constance is having to be more consultative. So she can still make sure they get in the platform, but now she can be proactive in educating the dealer on, here are best practices. These are things that you should be considering doing. Now when the dealer logs into the platform, they have that support as they're navigating the platform, whether it's site tours or show me videos. And then also the incorporation of an initial checklist. So when that dealer does log in, there'll be 4, 5, 6 items that are, hey, do these things because it's going to maximize the effect of the platform and your marketing efforts. And it might be, making sure that your online business listings are updated, that you're connecting your social media pages to the social tool, that you're enrolling in a digital subscription or things of that nature. And so I think for us, it'll always be a natural blend of human touch and technology, and we'll continue to lean into that. But the learning enablement in the platform frees up Constance to be a lot more consultative and proactive.
It also goes to that scale and consistency piece. So when you have someone who's new to the platform, here's the things that you need to review and understand. And now we know that it's a dynamic checklist that they all can go through. And then, like you said, spend their time having more strategic one-on-one conversations. Okay, so when you make or have made the case internally for more investment in training or enablement, what metrics are you thinking about? What are you putting on the slides to make the case? And what are you tracking sort of now and after?
So for us, are we addressing the content that we're using the learnings for? Engagement on the platform, are people feeling more comfortable, having a better user experience? And then also the sales training and fund utilization, knowing that is increasing has been fantastic for us. Recently in I think you guys call it Q4, it's our Q3, we had 205 new pharmacies log into the platform and start utilizing their funds, which has been phenomenal for us with adding the WalkMe's and all the additional stuff that we're doing.
And also call volumes on those like same topics have decreased, right?
Yes, significantly.
Yeah.
And it's allowed us to have, like Eric was saying, better conversations with our pharmacies. Pharmacists are not taught marketing. They don't even have a marketing class in their curriculum. So being able to talk with them about what is important in marketing and more importantly, ROI, how can they measure it in their store to know that their marketing is working for them? And our areas of opportunity where there's maybe a greater margin that they can market to that audience and grow their business. Those are the conversations we want to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think very similar. I mean, obviously co-op utilization is big, and we saw the stat in the last session about the impact of just even 1% more utilization of co-op and what that does for leads and revenue. And then resource utilization. The platform in its infancy was to file co-op claims and to access literature. And so through the strategy project, we started looking at, certainly logins, how many people are logging in, but then how many are going in and doing more than just one activity. So more than just going and, ordering brochures or downloading a PDF, how many are then taking that next step to launching a digital campaign or using, some of the other tools that are available in the platform. And so I think as we look at, things that we will continue to measure and that we were looking at, it's going to be how do we keep people engaged on the platform longer to utilize more of the resources that we've invested in. And then I think on the back end, we'll see that feedback in terms of what are we seeing for call volume that they need help with. Which of the Show Me videos are they viewing the most, or how many site tours are they doing after that first login? So those are some of the things that we look at.
And we know, learning nerd here, but adult learners, they want to be able to access training when they want it. They want to self-drive, but also they need to be told and want to be told what to do and how to do it. So if we can guide them to some of those more high ROI tactics through some of these techniques, that's sort of what we're trying to achieve here too, right? Okay. All right. So we've talked a lot about the Show Me. You've both invested in sort of that Show Me how experience inside the platform. Is there anything we haven't talked about or that you would add about what you've learned about training in the flow of work versus one-off or outside the platform? Like one work better than the other, et cetera?
For us, did you want me to go first?
Go ahead. Yep.
Sorry, Eric.
Go ahead.
So for us, it was just determining where, in talking with our pharmacies and talking with our sales staff, where do they want the learnings? Where are they going to be able to utilize them? And then also tracking it on the back end. Okay, so you told us that this learning was going to work for you. Is it working for you? And where they're just digesting the information and then investing in those areas.
It's a more targeted approach.
Yes.
Looking at data to make those decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, we talked earlier about a lot of the communication flow is through our field sales staff, and I think removing them from the equation so that our dealers are getting the information right away and in the platform. So one, that it's consistent, it's always available there for them. And then part of that is educating our field staff on here's why we made this investment and why it's good for you. You're going to get a lot less, how do I do this questions that you may not be able to answer if we can get dealers into the platform, using the platform, and then having those learning enablement tools there to help guide them.
Okay, so let's jump to the future and talk about perfect world, in a perfect world. So if you could wave a magic wand and fix a friction point in how partners learn about and engage in your program, what would it be?
So this is dreaming, right?
Yep, this is dreaming.
So,
Dream-
and I
dream
hear
on.
that the dream might be coming true, so I'm kind of excited about it. I just learned that moments ago. But for me, it would be a knowledge bank agent that has learnings from the questions that we're getting. And somebody can just type in, how do I do this? How should I be doing this? What marketing works the best? Those sorts of things. And then getting answers right away rather than having to wait for customer service. And the second part of it for me would be, we have over 600 or 700 different assets on our platform. So having a suggested little bar that comes up when somebody's maybe working on allergy assets for their pharmacy. Did you know we also have this, this, and this that you can use to market your pharmacy? I think that would be helpful to us.
Yeah, I agree. I think personalized and dynamic. So as I'm a user and I log in, the things that are surfaced to me are the most applicable, the things that are going to have the greatest impact. Understanding what I've used previously and making recommended suggestions that support that or reinforce that. Maybe it's the seasonality of products that should be promoted. Maybe it's the type of tactics that should be used and what you pair them with. Resources like literature pieces, if dealers are going in and consistently using the same resources on the back end, the ability to know, like, we have 700 assets in our marketing library. Can we get rid of 500 of them because they're not used or not used at a high level? So I think those type of dynamic recommendations for both the individual user, but for us as on the corporate side as well, would be extremely beneficial.
Well, I think the good news is we're going to make both of your dreams come true very soon. So that's good news. That's
Awesome.
Good news. Okay, so I have, let's do this one, and then I'm going to finish with some advice that you would give to everyone. But in the next 12 to 18 months, are you thinking about AI? How are you thinking about incorporating AI into a learning approach? And I guess, is it different than what you just talked about in your dream world?
Well, it is my dream world.
Yeah.
So again, it's an AI agent, and then really focusing on the learnings from that agent, and finding out where, because we do have so many pharmacies across the country, where are there pain points in marketing, not only on the platform, but in marketing, and how can we address that? And I think the learnings from the AI agent will help us out a lot with that.
Eric?
Yeah, I think very similar is, how can we become more informed through AI, more hyper-personalized and localized? Our dealer network spans across, 2,000 locations across North America, and it's everything from rural to urban to multi-locations, and so the things that those dealers need to do look very different than what their neighbor might be doing. And so how can the platform help to drive them to the right resources to benefit them based on geography, based on what's worked for other dealers of a similar profile? I think there is a lot of opportunity there. And then the other piece would be just in like the creation of assets. How are we leveraging AI to ensure brand compliancy, to help encourage the use of messaging and creative that we know is going to be effective?
Okay, so I am assuming that there's a wide range of tenure in learning programs for partners in this room. So what advice would you have for anyone who's just starting or continuing on their journey? What should they be thinking about that's worked for you? Let's continue with Eric this time.
I think the biggest thing would be don't wait. I think the longer you wait, the greater the frustration becomes or your gaps widen. So don't wait. Lean on your partners. I think, Stacy in our relationship is the expert, and so I rely on Stacy to provide good guidance on what might work, what might not. We bring to the table, obviously, insights from dealers and field staff, and we can look at some of the data that the platform has, but our partners at Ansira also have that knowledge that they can bring. So those would probably be the two biggest things: is don't wait and lean on your partners.
What would
So
you say?
I would agree with don't wait, because as we all know, if somebody comes to a platform and has a frustrating experience, they're likely not going to come back. And then trying to get them to come back is going to be even harder. So addressing those learnings right away, looking at the data, look at where are people, or what are customer questions that are coming in? Where are they frustrated? Where are they dropping off in the platform? Where are they just not engaging at all? And addressing that with videos and content that they can digest easily.
Yeah, not relying on the one size fits all.
Yes.
Because we all know how different our learners are, our segments are, but targeting an approach.
Yes.
And using data to do that.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Well, you guys, that was a very fast 30 minutes, at least up here. Hopefully you all got a little tidbit of something from this. I think all of us are very passionate about what we do and what we love here about learning. So please find us and let's continue the conversations out in the world. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.